Welcome to Tables,
Lists,
and briefcases. Welcome to Tables, Lists, and Chairs. But we're doing TLB. We're doing Money in the Bank cash-ins this time, which is briefcases. If it's your first time here for TLC, here's how the show works. Each of us will come up with a top 10 list of a certain wrestling category. We're going to go through those picks at the same time and reveal our picks at the same time. And each of our picks has been assigned a point value. Our number 10 pick has been assigned 1 point, number 9, 2 points, etc. We go all the way up to the top, we total up the results, and we get the definitive correct answer for a wrestling category. And this episode's category is the best Money in the Bank cash-ins of all time so far.
I actually struggle with this more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah.
I did the worst one much easier.
I think, like, having the top echelon of best ones, you're like, okay, definitely here are, like, the definitive best ones.
I think there is a definitive top 3.
Yes, I'd say so as well.
Yeah.
But then the lower tier of the 10s is like, I mean, this one was good.
That's it. Yeah. Like, my number 10 is, I guess.
Yeah, it was there. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Hey! Matchy, let's go!
Matchy!
Baby Priest, yeah, and Dean Ambrose, very good. I think this is a pretty good cash-in. The only reason it's not higher for me is because Damian Priest is like the third wheel of this whole thing. Like, he's not the focus of the angle, you know? It's about like Punk and Drew and Punk screwing Drew, and it's all about Drew's further breakdown. But it's a cool cash-in that happened at Mania, and it was a unique winner that we hadn't seen before. It was a very well-executed angle. The only reason it's not higher is because Damian isn't really the main point of it.
I agree. Like, I thought it was a cool moment.
Yes.
But I think they did not do enough to make Damian Priest feel like he was a world champion, like, level guy. So he kind of comes across a little bit swagger-ish. You know what I mean?
It's nowhere near as bad as Swagger.
It's not as bad as Swagger,
yes.
but it's the same thing. And also, Fritz a belt that no one cares about. So, like,
yeah,
it's fine. Like, it's a good moment.
Yes.
But, like, a lot of the components within there don't make it that great.
They didn't make him a world champion level guy before cashing in, maybe a common theme among a lot of these. Speaking of which, we've got Wacky Dean.
Yeah.
Now, I could very much say the same things about Dean Ambrose. Hell, I blew a gasket related to the Ambrose Asylum match, and that was the last pay-per-view match he had before he cashed in. So not a very good setup, but that being said, I'm not the biggest fan of same-day cash-ins or, you know, immediate after cash-ins. Maybe it's just because the women have provided us many examples of that, one after another over the years. But I think the best one of those was definitely this, and it is for the reason of, this is the night where all 3 Shield members were WWE champion, which is kind of a cool thing. Like, I'm not one for the 3-minute title reign either, because I think it pads a lot of stats that don't mean anything. But in this case, it served a proper narrative, and I can't say that very often.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, interesting.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
This one is more... We did that WrestleTalk original recently, where it's about how, like, oh, Money in the Bank sometimes is more than just a briefcase, a contract and a briefcase. It's hope.
Yeah.
That's what this was for me. This was a moment, because, like, Punk was my guy. So I was like, yeah, they're getting behind my guy. So I don't remember when or who it was on. I think he won the title, like the secondary title, but I don't really care. It was just a case of, yeah, my guy won the world title. There was genuine excitement that maybe this company will get behind my guy.
That is
fool.
totally fair.
Oh yeah,
fool.
Why would you do that?
It's why I didn't buy the second time he did it.
Well, that's the good one.
Yeah.
Anyway, Carmella.
Yes.
Like I said, a lot of the women's cash-ins have very much blended together for me, because it's always the same night or next night surprise cash-in, because we can't have 2 people walking around with the same prop. This one was the exception to that. This would probably be higher if Mike Chioda doesn't become the star of this every time it gets shared by being like, you want to cash this in?
Now?
This? Are you sure?
You?
Briefcase.
To the point. To the point that it kind of ruins the angle for me. Because I'm like, you're an idiot. Why is this about the referee?
That is entirely why Carmella's not on my list. For me, this isn't necessarily about the moment itself, because the cash-in itself is a bit like, Big Show beat Mark Henry, and then Daniel Bryan only just manages to cash in. Like, Big Show kicks out at 3.5, you know, right after he wins. Like, the cash-in is like, But a guy who was nobody on the roster, who won Money in the Bank, and people were like, oh, cool. cool. That's cool. He's never been pushed before. That's nice. And then he went on a losing streak, and they had the whole storyline where it's like, oh, it's a bad omen, and he came out and was like, grrr, at the briefcase the whole time because he was making him lose all the time. To then have him cash in, and then go on and to turn heel because of it. You know, that subsequent title reign made Daniel Bryan into what then became the Yes Movement, and then that became the whole thing beyond that. Is like, the cash in itself is like, whatever, but the subsequent title reign was actually pretty good into what it kickstarted and what it became afterwards. 3, 2, 1.
Hey! I feel like I never get matches on this thing, unless it's like number 1 and it's an obvious one.
You're the lone wolf.
Yeah, B. Yeah. It's just good, right? It's just nice.
It is just nice.
Yeah, it's just nice.
You
Just
know,
happy for the guy.
The cash in itself is like, you know, it's whatever. He announces it beforehand because they really needed a ratings boost, where he's like, I'm going to cash in tonight after the main event. So it doesn't have the, oh my God, the music, I forgot. None of that. It's just, I like Big E.
Yeah.
And now he's WWE champion.
Similarly, I was like, Io Sky. Sweet.
I mean, she is fantastic.
3, 2, 1.
Oh.
Yep. There's Damian Priest. Dean Ambrose. All right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Look. You want me to justify this?
Oh, well, that's the point of the show, Pete. So,
Yeah?
Yeah.
I know the Authority storyline bad. I get it. I get what came after kinda sucked. This moment is really good. The idea of having, and you know, if it was an intentional storyline, which it wasn't, but having the guy that we want pin John Cena clean at SummerSlam, and you go, oh, he's finally made it, only to snatch it away, and then he wins it back later, is such a great story, right? And if they were going to do that, this is a great way to do it. The moment of Triple H turning heel as well and aligning with Orton, you go, oh, that's a genuine swerve that I did not see coming. That is a great moment, and I love the structure of this cash-in as well, where Orton comes out and you go, oh, he's got the briefcase, not long now, and he goes to turn away and he's gonna leave, and you're like, okay, he's just like making his presence known. But then you get the heel turn from Triple H, and then Orton cashes in. Like, that's a genuinely great moment. And I know what came next was the Authority, which, boo. But the actual moment itself was awesome. I love this cash-in.
We've got Damian Priest over here.
Yeah?
Who I think's a pretty good little cash-in. I don't think it's amazing, spectacular, but he cashed in at WrestleMania. Only the second person to ever say they could do that. That's pretty neat. That's a pretty good little thing to be able to say you could do. And sure, I don't necessarily think that he's been the greatest world champion, and I don't necessarily think he was built up to be a world champion before that. But in terms of, hey, WrestleMania moment, they accomplished that with this, and it's better than like most Money in the Bank cash-ins.
Yeah.
By default.
Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely gets plus points for Mania.
100%,
For sure.
yeah. Yeah, I did write down Dean Ambrose. I had to remind myself there. But yeah, no, Ambrose, like, it's against more for the historical thing of the Shield all held the title on the same night.
Yeah.
And that's a cool thing.
3, 2, 1. Yeah. Edge 2007.
Yes.
Interesting. All right.
The second time.
Yeah.
I, like, from strictly a cash-in point of view, which I know I'll contradict this point shortly, perhaps. I think as just an angle, I might like this one more between his two. The setup of everything is so, like, this is actually one of Michael Cole's better calls on commentary, talking about, not this way, damn it.
Yeah.
It's a really good moment and sets up a lot for the future. This is the start of the Edge Undertaker feud, which goes on for like over a year. And this was much further along, Edge being the ultimate opportunist. And this was where you really start seeing him lean into that. Like, he will do anything and do any, you know, dastardly heel trick in order to get back to the world title. And that became even more true over the coming years. Edge just comes down and gets the world title, and that title looks better on him than the WWE title. So bonus points for that.
Yeah. The Beach cash-in is great, as you guys said. Very feel good. It's wonderful. I also just like as well, during cash-ins, when you get that little bit of drama, you get that little bit of tension, like, oh, they're actually not gonna do it, I think, actually. And there's a moment where Lashley hits a spear in this one, you go, oh, Big E's gonna fail. Oh, God. And then he comes back and hits big ending and he wins. And it's like that little, like, oh, he's not gonna do it. Oh, actually, he did. Is great tension.
Yeah, I think you downplayed this one, Pete.
Yeah?
I think this is real good.
Yeah?
Like, I think it's fun as well, because I loved the Big Show Mark Henry feud.
So did I.
Like,
it was great.
It's so much better than it has any right to be because it is the Big Show versus Mark Henry.
Mark Henry was rad at the time.
But then this little dweeb comes in, this scrawny little nerd comes in here with his briefcase, and he carries
all right, Michael Cole.
on the big like monster dude, and then he's just like he's in a feud with these two ginormous guys, and he's like, I'm the same size as you, and it's so good. Like I really dig this, and without this, you don't get Mania 30.
3, 2, 1.
Ooh. Would you look at that?
Interesting.
I think you're even underselling that, Pete.
Apparently, I'm the underseller of this show. All right.
This is a hell of an angle.
Yeah.
The only thing I have wrong with the angle is that Triple H still has to blow himself and hit the pedigree and have that be it. 2 minutes later, Randy Orton cashes in and Daniel Bryan's still knocked out from this one pedigree.
It is the most devastating move.
Clearly. If he had kicked out, fired up, and got hit with a flash RKO and pinned, I think it would be like 10 out of 10, the most perfect angle. Absolutely phenomenal. And like you said, if the Authority storyline ended at WrestleMania 30 or even Survivor Series 2014, either of the times when it would have been acceptable, I think we would all look back on this with no issues whatsoever, but it does have a bit of that stank on it. It's like, here's where that thing you don't like started. But if you're just looking at it in a vacuum, this is like the end of a very good SummerSlam. This is the angle that everybody, like, yeah, they saw their favorite guy get
What did he say?
but they wanted to see it.
And it also came after another big moment of Bryan beating Cena. Look, this cash-in could have been a lot more based on the reign that came after it, unfortunate circumstances. And also there's some weird Edge interference in there.
Didn't need it.
Which it didn't need to be there. Having said all that, this cash-in ruled. Like, announcing in advance to be at ECW, facing John Cena, where it is, we have our guy versus the very much not our guy, and that crowd and that atmosphere just makes it into one of the most like iconic moments, even with shenanigans layered on top of it, even if it is, you know, it's very WWE-ified around it. Just having RVD win and beat Cena and everyone goes, yes, it's our guy, is such a great moment, and this is a wonderful cash-in.
So I got back into wrestling in 05. So this is like just after my first year of coming back. It's actually like 1 year more or less because it's New Year's Revolution. It was New Year's Revolution 05. I got back into wrestling. And I was already sick of Cena. Like, I was so sick of this Cena title reign.
Little did you know.
And I was like really excited by this whole Money in the Bank concept. And it was awesome. When he cashed in one title, I was like, this is rad. Obviously, he loses it 3 weeks later, so boo. But the moment itself was so exciting.
3, 2, 1. Ooh, that is a lot higher than I thought it would be.
I loved this.
Yeah?
That was great. That was really cool. I was like, again, it's one of your faves, getting that shot, getting that moment. And it was one of the few really good things from that SummerSlam. Like, it's a great match to kind of like end off anyway, and a really cool moment afterwards.
As we were saying before, I love this as the first cash-in as well is really important to do to establish like what this new thing is. And this, I think, accomplished everything that they wanted to achieve out of Money in the Bank, because it was a guy who never won the world title before, wasn't at that upper echelon or whatever, and granted, it was 3 weeks later, but this is the kickstart of Edge as a main eventer. This established Money in the Bank as like this is a thing you need to pay attention to every year, because this is going to matter.
Yeah.
And it didn't for a good old chunk of time in there. But sometimes it does, and this is when it does.
I think this is also why this is quite high up on my list, because it feels like we went through a real dirge of just like, and like not real a lot of great stuff. And this was one of those where like, no, that's a good cash-in. Great.
I feel very much the same way about this. CM Punk the second time. Now, the first time, I think the cash-in is a lot of fun, does come out of nowhere, and you would think that as it happens, oh, great, new star, because the story at the time was that both the world champions were either on SmackDown or drafted to SmackDown, and now there's no world champion on Raw, and Edge comes out to gloat and says, haha, you're never gonna see this again, cashed in on, and now you've got your new top star of Raw. I think it's a really good thing in concept, but Then the next few months happened, and it left a sour taste in a lot of CM Punk fans. Then the cash-in happens. And this is everything the first one should have been. I love this cash-in because I hated this cash-in. He cashes in on Jeff Hardy after winning the World Heavyweight Championship in a ladder match. And Jeff Hardy, who never gets the long run as world champion, has his title ripped away from him. And CM Punk then comes out, and immediately, I remember doing like a school project where I was talking about wrestling, and I had to do it like the day after this, and I put CM Punk as like the #2 most hated man in WWE. I was pissed. But then he comes out and he's not a heel. Not yet. Because he comes out there and he's like, listen, I did exactly the same thing as I did last year, and you all cheered. What's the difference? And he just gets more and more angry because these people have chosen Jeff over him. And I think that is a narrative use of the Money in the Bank briefcase that we almost never see.
3, 2, 1. Oh, we were so close. We were so close. I didn't have the other CM Punk cash in on here mainly for variety's sake. It probably could have gone in there, but it would have been quite low, maybe like 8 or 9 or 10 on there. But this one rules. And it's again that I like those cash-ins where someone just comes in, hits a finish, and then they win, yay, whatever. But as I mentioned before in other ones, I love when there's drama. And at this one, like he hits the GTS, and Hardy kicks out, he goes, oh. Have I screwed up here? And it's that moment of being like, oh, there's hope. It gets taken away from us.
Jeff Hardy rolls him up.
Yeah.
Me sat there going, come on!
Come on, Jeff! It's just, there's that level of attention to detail with cash-ins, rather than just like, oh, it's a moment, they'll hit a finish, whatever. It's having a little mini match within the cash-in itself is so cool. And the heel turn that came out of it and the subsequent feud with Punk and Hardy is stuff of legend. It was awesome. A fantastic cash-in.
Speaking of stuff of legend, you need a good first cash-in to really hit this thing home, make it a new commodity. The WWE can push at WrestleMania again next year. And granted, they were running out of time because they wanted to do Cena and Triple H at WrestleMania, and they were like, well, we got this stupid briefcase we got to deal with. But it doesn't really matter because what people remember from it is Edge winning his first WWE championship. I still think I like the second one better as an angle, but in terms of the importance of it, this was just absolutely everything it needed to be. It was a heel picking the most opportune moment, cashing in on a guy who's just defended the title in an Elimination Chamber match where he's covered in blood, and I think over the years, it's just like they cash in after a match. You know, and I think you lose a little bit of that, like, should be after the biggest match. That makes the most sense. And here they wove that idea into the Money in the Bank briefcase very naturally, and I think they did a fantastic job at that. And my favorite guy won the title for the first time.
One of my favorite guys won the title for the first time.
Yeah,
and like that, like yours, didn't last very long.
Yep.
Oh,
but I love this moment. I don't like One Night Stand 2 as much as the first one.
Yeah.
well,
Like,
yeah.
The first one is a perfect show. The second one is kind of the big warning sign of like, oh, this is what the WWE version of ECW is going to look like, and I kind of rejected it a little bit. But this is the only thing people really need to remember from that show: that crowd and that atmosphere and that feeling. I don't need Edge there, particularly in a bike helmet. Like I could do less with.
Why?
What? Yeah.
Why does he hide his face?
He hits the spear. I wonder who this could be. Is it Goldberg?
It's also a bad spear.
It's clearly
Of course
Rhino.
it's Edge. Man's hit like 2 good spears in his life. This is one of my favorite cash-ins ever. Also, like, there's not often you can do the I'm announcing it ahead of time that I'm cashing in and it works.
Yeah.
This worked.
3, 2, 1. Oh, hold on. Do we need to?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There we
Yeah.
go. Nice. We agree.
We agree.
Yeah.
What a pop.
Oh, what a pop.
What a pop.
What a
right?
moment.
This is Raw After Mania. Right
Oh,
here.
yeah. Yeah, this is Raw After Mania, and this is like all the stuff we were talking about earlier of like, you know.
I spelled it wrong.
Why are your G's backwards N's?
No, the G's.
Oh, jeez. This Raw After Mania feeling, and also this is what we were talking about earlier, like, this is one of my favorite guys, this is his moment, this is the big star elevation. Of course it wasn't, but that moment where he cashes in and everyone's like, we want one thing. We just want to see Dolph cash in. And they go, all right, here you go. Dolph comes out, everyone goes nuts, and you have the drama with Del Rio even locking in the arm breaker on him, but then Dolph gets out of it because he targeted the knee that got hurt in the match, and then he comes back and it's a zigzag and the pop of the zigzag and then the moment, and oh my god, so much drama and emotion. It's a perfect moment.
This Raw After Mania sets a bad precedence for...
It was too good.
It actually was too good
Yeah.
that every other Raw After Mania really struggled to live up to it.
Yep.
And this is part of that.
That being said, for this night, there was one thing that people wanted to see. And there was debate about whether you would see it at WrestleMania, if that would be the first ever WrestleMania cash-in. They didn't do it, but they did it that next night. And it was just so cathartic because this guy we'd been waiting for Dolph Ziggler to be world champion for like 2 years, maybe more, and finally he does, and I don't know if I've ever been more let down.
Oh, yeah. I was so into this group as well. It might be because they look like your starting trio from Final Fantasy VII, but it's like, we went into that WrestleMania. I was like, they're going to win the tag titles and Dolph's going to cash in and they're going to be this awesome super group. And it wasn't quite that. Considering that Dolph kept saying, I'm going to cash in a WrestleMania. And then like just doesn't. But this made up for it.
3, 2, 1. Jack Swagger. We've all done the same joke. Jack Swagger, but actually it's Seth.
Yeah.
Sheamus. Lol, JK, it's Seth. Austin, the... Seth.
Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
It's Seth.
It's Seth.
This is the best cash-in ever.
Yeah.
What helps this cash-in is, A, it actually does genuinely elevate someone that they were already building to be, you are the future of this. You are going to be our next tippity top guy. And they then spent months and months and months making sure that you knew he's going to be a WWE champion. So they did the job there. B, and I think more importantly, B, no one was interested in this WrestleMania main event. Absolutely no one was. And they did a dreadful job of trying to make people care about it. And it's like it's the best match those two have.
Quite comfortably, I'd say.
Comfortably so. I agree. But this moment actually elevates the match so much more.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
It is the secret option C when both options A and B were bad in that match. And it makes this into like the heist of the century, being honestly a great call. And this feeling like one of the biggest deals that it could possibly be for a stipulation that already has loads of great moments coming before it, to supersede all of them and to go into that upper echelon of being like, oh, this is one of the greatest wrestling moments of all time. Like, this is absolutely up there with one of the best booking decisions they've ever made.
It was such a genuine surprise. I don't think anybody knew you could do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think they ever explained that if you cash in during a match, it becomes a triple threat. But they never needed to.
Yeah.
You just don't need to explain that. It just makes sense.
It was, you put it perfectly, the secret option C that is actually better than A or B. I went and said this was like the best WrestleMania in like, I don't know, probably 12 years at the time. It's like a top 5 Mania, and I said that to my history teacher, and he said it was a bad Mania, and you're a fool, Mr. Anthony. I know you're watching this. This is one of the best WrestleMania moments of all time. He told me no one would remember anything from this WrestleMania.
Unbelievable.
What?
An idiot.
Yeah,
High?
An absolute fool.
No one remembers Triple H and Sting. No one remembers this cash-in. No one remembers...
No one remembers that RKO.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
A fool.
I've got the results.
In the bank.
The results in the bank of the best Money in the Bank cash-ins. I wonder what the winner could be. Been handed the results from Adam Whitney, taking over from editor Rich today, who said, I cashed in on Rich, and that's why I'm here today.
Very good.
Very good, Mr. Whitney.
It's on the worst cash-ins list.
honestly, really underwhelming, mate. I've got to change my answers for worst cash-ins now. In third place with 21 points, it is Edge in 2006. The first one. In second place with 27 points, it's Dolph Ziggler. And in first place with a full 30 points, it's Seth Rollins. I think that's a pretty good list.
Yeah, I like that.
I'd say those are the top 3.
They were my top 3.
Yeah.
Therefore, it is the correct list.
Yeah, you know, that's fair. Now, we just talked about the best moments in Money in the Bank history, but did you know that Money in the Bank actually has a really cursed past? Check out this video to learn the full cursed history of Money in the Bank.
2005 to 2009. Like penicillin, the creation of Money in the Bank was an accident. In the build to WrestleMania 21,